off on another hike. We are heading. We are in southern Utah, and we're heading to the cliff dwellings. And as you might be able to hear Kareen in the front saying, we're going to see the house on fire. Hopefully we're going to arrive at a good time to actually see it on fire. So that's the goal. We're taking a little bit of a different route in that is more direct, but apparently a bit more challenging. So we'll just have to see how that goes. So there are the cliff dwellings over there. The route that Kareen and I have come down is pretty harrowing. We took the real steep route. I think we're thinking of walking out the flatter route. So we came from way up there, and we are going right over there. And Kareen's just a little further down the trail from me. So Kareen finds some treasure. Unfortunately, you're going to have to listen to me prattle on here for a minute or two because the audio in this particular section was very, very bad. There is nothing better for Kareen than finding a treasure. And she will spend a lot of time going through each piece of the treasure quite often. Although today, because we were trying to get down and do some photography, she was relatively quick. I also note that in this box, there are some very good instructions about how to behave around the house on fire and the area in general. It also gives some information on the various insects and lizards and snakes that are in the area. Definitely take a look. It is really worth going through the box.
Information on footprints and nasty reptiles. Well, not all of them are nasty.
Reptiles are our friends.
Oh, and a thing about another trail, Pinhole Point. And the Grand Gulch Cedar Mesa is a special and fragile place. And it documents who was here first. The basket makers. And then the Pueblos. And there's a logbook for people who arrive. And house rules. Keep your feet off the furniture. Don't take the knickknacks. By invitation only. Sign the register, not the rocks. Don't pee in the parlor. Don't eat in the living room. And no slumber parties. That's all I'm going to pull out.
What about that last rock?
The pink one? Keep on choosing.
That's really a full box.
Yep. reason these settlements in the rocks, cliff dwellings, are called house on fire is because of this unique geology of the rooftop. The rock overhead has this beautiful striations curving up and around the edge of the rock, and it almost looks like flames that are licking out from the interior of the dwelling. And when you get the right lighting, it's quite red and fiery looking. Looking inside the room, you can see the soot for countless number of fires that were burned in these quite cave dwellings. You have to really admire the ability of these folks to build a structure that has lasted all these years, thousands of years. Now, granted, probably being under this cliff, it doesn't have the problem with erosion that exterior dwellings might have, because the overhang would make water fall off the outside edge, keeping the front porch quite dry. And also underneath the cliff is probably protected from the wind. There's Sean down there in the sunshine, taking a few photos.
We were extraordinarily lucky. We had the whole area to ourselves for several hours before anybody else showed up. But once people started to show up, it became very busy very fast. So if you come here to do some photography, get here early and be prepared for lots of visitors.
So Sean, is there anything special about how you've set up for taking this photograph?
Not really. I have set it up so that I can get the one wall and a couple windows in the picture, and then get all of the roof that should light up. But I'm also making sure that there's no sky in the picture to make the picture too bright. So I want to keep it as dark as I can and avoid as much sky as I can. But outside of that, it's a pretty straightforward shot. I've got a polarizer on right now, but I haven't decided whether I'll keep that or not. Certainly while it's in the shade, the polarizer brings up some of the reds and that in the shot. But once the starts lighting up, that may not actually be very useful. So we'll just have to wait and see, and we'll just have to, it's one of those things where you just have to be patient and you have to wait for the light. Corrine assures me I should start seeing the light in the next hour, so hopefully that'll be the case.
And what lens did you choose to use?
Well, right now I'm just using my 24 to 105 lens, and I'm shooting at about 34 millimeters. My 18 to 36, I could substitute that lens, but then I'd be pushing right to its very end. So I'm thinking this is a better choice right now. Also, if it turns out that there are some interesting shots where I can kind of zoom in a little bit more, this will give me more flexibility to do that. And because I don't want any sky, I really can't pull back any further than where I am right now. Now, I guess the other way to do it would be to use the shorter wide-angle zoom and then just move closer. That would be a way to do this as well. However, just the way the rocks are shaped and that all on the edge here, what you'll find is that you're pretty much going to have to be down on your belly with a very, very short tripod in order to get the shot. And I think the distortion may be something that I would find displeasing. Others might find it quite pleasing, but I find any kind of distortion in the photograph somewhat displeasing.
One thing I think it's important to do when you come out to photograph a iconic location is make use of all your time there. Don't just get set up and then sit around waiting for what you think will be ideal light, such as at a sunset. What you want to do is take some initial pictures as soon as you get there, once you're set up with your composition. And then as the light proceeds, you can take more pictures, because digital photography is not the same expense as it was when you had film photography. So you never know what's going to happen with the light. Maybe a cloud will come and cover up your sunset, or maybe the sun will come out from a cloud and get too bright and create harsh shadows. So think about taking some initial pictures as soon as you get to your location, and then continue to watch how the light proceeds and take more pictures as the light gets better.
Corinne's words turned out to be quite prophetic. It turns out that the pictures that we like the best were actually taken early in the photographic session. And here are a couple of our favorite photographs. The area started to get quite busy, so it was time to pack up and start our hike out. This was going to take us quite some time. With a feeling of some accomplishment, we started to hike out. As it turns out, it was a long and very strenuous hike back to the truck. But regardless, we still enjoyed the day very much.
So we made it up to the paved road, and it's a bit of a slog. This is not very much fun kind of hiking, but we have about another half mile to the van, and all should be good.
Well, we've returned from our hike down to House on Fire. It was a popular spot, even though it's late September. Everyone should be back from vacations that have children, and it was middle of the week.
Even in the middle of the week, it was quite surprising that was the case. So we've actually got back up to the van, and we had a wonderful time, although the hike back was a bit more strenuous than maybe we had intended.
And there's some nice ruins up here by where we've recently parked that explain more about some of the cultures that build these structures. So if you're into ancient history and early culture, this is a great stop along the way.
And if you liked our video today, please give us a thumbs up. And as always, please don't hesitate to subscribe. We really appreciate all the folks that subscribe and follow us.
And if you want to know when we post more videos, you can hit that notification bell down in the corner.
And as always, don't hesitate to leave a comment, thought, an idea. We love reading them and hearing from you.
Yes, well, thanks for joining us. Bye for now.
Bye for now. Well, we sure hope you enjoyed the video. We're going to leave you today with a little montage of the area around House on Fire called Valley of the Gods.